Hello and welcome back. Today on the bench we have the Colt Government Model chambered in the British caliber of .455 Webley. Now from May of 1912 through April of 1919, Britain purchased over 17,500 Colt Government Model pistols, and prior to July of 1915 all of them were purchased in .45 ACP, and subsequently thereafter, all of them were in .455 Webley. Now, there was 12,700 of these pistols that were chambered in the official British caliber, and the official British caliber of the .455 Webley was primarily a British service revolver cartridge. And some of the characteristics of this cartridge was it had a low velocity of 650 feet per second. And it had excellent stopping power. It rated superior to the .45 ACP in the 1904 Thompson-Lagarde test. And it remained in service with British and Commonwealth countries until the end of World War II. Now, there were six main different types of this ammo produced, and for the government model, the cartridge used was the Webley Auto Mark I that was produced until the middle of World War II. Now, it was a 224 grain bullet with a 700 foot per second velocity. It had a thicker extractor rim, and the case mouth was crimped into the bullet. And the cartridges were also semi-rimmed. That meant that the rim was slightly larger than the cartridge case. Now, the bullet was 5/1000ths of an inch thicker than the .45, and the casing itself was 32/1000ths of an inch longer. The Colt .455 was not entirely satisfactory in service because the bullet design didn't work well with the Colt barrel design. And because the bullet was crimped, it was not designed to seat at the front of the chamber as the .45 ACP did. And because it was semi-rimmed, and manufacturer tolerances being what they were, sometimes the cartridges were a little small and they would slip past the shoulder of the barrel overhang and the cartridges would stick in the barrel. Now, because of the difference in size of the bullet, it required a wider magazine and magazine well, and it also required a different barrel. So in order to distinguish between these and the .45 ACP, all these have a prefix of W instead of the prefix of C that we see on the Colt Government Model. Now, something that adds to the confusion with these is these are called Webleys, and then the magazines are marked with Ellie. Now, Ellie was the name of the designer of an improved cartridge, so there is a little bit of confusion, rightfully so, with these pistols when they were around. So anyway, these pistols, almost all of them went to the military. There were a few that were sold in Britain after World War I to the public, and then there were also a few that were sold here in the United States. Now, where these went in the British military, they went to all services, but primarily to the RAF. 10,500 of these pistols ended up with the RAF. And these were, some of them were stamped at Colt with government ownership stamps, and then they were accepted at the Royal Small Arms Factory at Enfield, which is a suburb of London. Now, the pistols we have on the bench are from 3 different years. This one was shipped September 26th of 1916. This one August 7th of 1918, and this one January 30th of 1919. And we'll go ahead and look at this latest example. It has quite a bit of interesting stamps on it, so we'll move these other ones out of the way real quick here, and we'll grab this one and something to point with, and we'll take a look at these markings. Okay, let's see here. We'll zoom in a little bit. Hopefully we can get some good light on these so we can see them. We'll start with the magazine here, and flip this over, and hopefully we can get in there and see it. Okay, here we go. Caliber .455 LE, And then we have the broad arrow stamped on here, which denotes government ownership. And then we'll go ahead and look at this inspection mark here. Now here we have, I doubt we're going to be able to see it real well, but this is a crown for His Majesty. And then the G2A stamp was the personal stamp of G.W.R. Stedman, British Army Inspector of Small Arms. And then we'll move over here, and you can see the government ownership stamp of the broad arrow, and then the military stamp of the crossed pennants. And then down here, for anybody that's curious, this is the triangle with a verified proof stamp that Colt put on all government models. And then we have over here the other crossed pennant for the military ownership. And then we'll go ahead and flip this back over, and you can see the roll marking for the Colt automatic caliber 455. And then of course here we have the W prefix for the serial number. And then we have another crown, I believe. Yeah, we have another crown back here, and I can't tell what that is offhand. We'll move on to the barrel. Here we have the 7 tons per square inch mark here. Then we also have the 224 grains for the bullet weight. And then we have the bullet diameter of 455. And then we have here the cartridge length of .923. And then here we have an arm holding a sword for nitro proof, and that's the other stamp there. And then we'll grab, let's see, this other one from the 100,000 serial number range, and it has all of the same marks, except here we have RAF stamped for the Royal Air Force. And this one you can tell was hand stamped. It's not all in a line. That was hand stamped by an RAF armorer. So there you go, a brief look at the 455 Webley and a little bit of British Colt 1911, or government model in this case, history. So, alright, I hope you enjoyed this short video showing the 455 Webley, and thanks for tuning in and watching, and have a great day.